Hello and welcome to Jedi Eternal. I'm one of your hosts, Andrew Bolin, alongside Mr. Grumpy Pants himself, Braxton Taylor. I don't know what's going on with this guy. He woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
He's just being mean to me. You can't trust this guy. He's just been mistreating me the whole time I'm here this morning. Or this afternoon, or whatever time it is.
I mean, as soon as he got in the door, he just had something to complain about, and he's just... I'm just be glad none of you are here because he's on a rampage.
Yeah.
So you can hear it in his voice, can't you?
Well, the first thing I walk into, I've been complaining about this chair. I have scoliosis, people. Okay, my back hurts, and he gives me this chair that has like a fourth of the way up back. It's killing my back every time I'm here. Dude comes in with like a gaming throne, like $6,000.
$6,000, you know, but
yeah,
I wish. Well, okay. Listen.
He hates me, people. That's all.
I told you could buy whatever chair you'd like for to sit in.
No. He doesn't care about my back. He's a meanie.
Oh, anyways, thank you for joining us today. We
yes.
As many of you know, the big trailer finally came. Mandalorian Season 2 trailer is finally here. And we are definitely going to break that down for you guys today.
Break it down.
We're going to go frame by frame, scene by scene, talk it out. That'll be our main topic, so that'll be at the end of the episode. But first, we're going to jump into some news, some rumors, and of course, everyone's favorite, our Q&A. And we got some good ones today. So let's start off with our first news story, and that is Star Wars Sideshow unveils General Obi-Wan Kenobi in Clone Wars armor statue. Ooh. And as many of you know, me and Braxton are huge Obi-Wan Kenobi fans, so when we saw this, we had to talk about it. It is beautiful. I encourage you guys to go look this up, Sideshow Collectibles. It's General Obi-Wan Kenobi Mythos statue, and hey, guess what? It's only a very small price of $585.
Yeah, so if you guys want a statue that does literally nothing other than look pretty, you can spend $600 on this puppy.
Yeah. So, you know.
I mean, I love Obi-Wan, but man, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. And so anyways, go check out the picture. It's pretty great.
It is great.
If I had tons of money to spend, I would totally get this.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's quite beautiful.
Yeah, I was seeing it the other day. I did not know how much money it was. And I was thinking, like, oh, man, I'm literally thinking about getting this. Because, like I said, I obviously love, Kenobi and stuff like that. And I'm like, I would love to add another kind of like figure statuette to my collection here. And I'm like, oh, it's almost a mere $600,
Yeah, well, when I saw it, I was thinking like, yeah, I'd be willing to spend a little extra cash to get this.
Yeah.
Thinking, maybe 200 max.
Yeah, if not like 150 or something like that. Yeah.
But
yeah.
Unfortunately, my love for Kenobi does not
has
go
its
that
limits.
far. It has its limits.
It has its limits.
So, and apparently $585.
It kind of caps out about right there.
Well, it caps out before that, I guess.
Well, true. Yeah, I was going to let you on $200.
But
so anyway, it is a pretty sick like figure. So go check that out. It's pretty awesome. But we definitely want to mention that just because A, it was kind of funny how expensive it was, but B, it just looks awesome. So.
It does look so awesome.
So our second news piece for today actually has to do with The Mandalorian. So pretty much 80% of our episode today will be about The Mandalorian, it seems like.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We have some really cool stuff here. So the news piece for The Mandalorian is actually about Season 1. And recently... kind of like a weird version of the 2020 Emmy Awards happened. And I can't remember if it was either last night or the night before. I can't remember. Anyway, but there was a total of 15 nominations for Mandalorian Season 1. And of those 15, they won 5 Emmys. 5. Count them, 5. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, there's not a lot of shows. I mean,
Yeah.
even counting out movies, but even shows that get 15 Emmy nominations, let alone 5 awards for only the first season.
Yeah,
I mean,
2 of those for Chapter 1.
Yeah. I can
2
read them
of
off
those,
here.
Yeah, 2 of those for Chapter 2 and 1 for Chapter 7.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll read all 5 of them off. So Chapter 1 has 2 of them, like you said. First one is Outstanding Production Design for Narrative Program, and then Outstanding Sound Editing for a Comedy or Drama Series and Animation. And then there's 2 for Chapter 2, which is Outstanding Sound Mixing for Comedy, Drama Series, and Animation, and Outstanding Special Visual Effects, which that's probably one of the main ones they won, because the visual effects of The Mandalorian is phenomenal. And
right.
they Filoni and Favreau pioneered some of this stuff with these, instead of blue screens and green screens, now it's like these like live, like, I don't even know what the words even is, but if you go look at the documentary, it shows like these live screens where like the video is playing on it, and that's next level. And then last but not least, for Chapter 7, Outstanding Cinematography for a Single Camera Series. So, well deserved. I'll just say that right off the bat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well deserved. Mandalorian Season 1 was phenomenal for what it was. It wasn't a movie. It didn't have millions and millions of dollars or even billions of dollars of funding, but yet it was on par with anything, in film, in my opinion. So,
yeah.
A lot of well-deserved nominations and well-deserved awards, but I thought that was pretty awesome. So congratulations to all those fellas over there.
Yes,
Fellas.
very well deserved. Yeah, so jumping into our next story here, we have with Star Wars Squadrons, they actually released a short film, and you can just watch this on YouTube. It's called Hunted. It's a CG short, and it's set within the world of Star Wars Squadrons, and it revolves around Varco Gray, leader of the Titan Squadron. So that would be with the Empire. And let me tell you, this is really good.
Yeah.
It's short, so I would recommend everybody go check it out. It's from the Empire's perspective, and it tells a story that actually has you rooting for this Empire character versus this rebel, because basically it's this dogfight between him and a rebel, and it's kind of weird, but like you're rooting for the way that they show it. It makes you root for the Empire character.
Well, it's kind of like in Battlefront 2 as well, when you had your campaign.
Right.
It's very similar feeling.
Yeah, and so
sure.
it was a little shocking to feel that way about it, but it is very good, and it brings back memories of watching all those CG shorts of the Old Republic. That I wish that we could just get a CG series of Star Wars.
Absolutely.
That you have this very high realism graphics that I just think it works really well for Star Wars. It works great in all those Old Republic CG shorts, and it works great on this one too. And I would love to see more of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is something I've said for a long time, is that these CG, medium, so to speak, that they could utilize and have utilized for short films and for trailers and things of that nature, absolutely could be an actual full-length film, or for sure could be a mini series or a Disney Plus series. I would totally watch a full series, as many episodes as they put out with that style. Because it looks great. I mean, for the Old Republic, it looked fantastic, amazing, and this one looks even better. I was watching a little bit of it. I honestly didn't watch the full thing because I didn't really know about it until Andrew said earlier.
Well,
and,
definitely finish it when you get a chance, because it's worth it.
I was like halfway through, and then we started the episode. But I was watching, and visually it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. So kind of off topic, but I definitely would love to see some stuff, more stuff like that made in the future.
Yeah, and I can sometimes almost zone out in like ship battles and stuff sometimes, and that one had my full attention the whole time, so it's good. So awesome. I highly encourage you to check it out.
Yeah, for sure. So, last but not least in our news for this week is Anthony Daniels returns to voice C-3PO in Star Wars' Edge of the Galaxy, or Galaxy's Edge, VR experience. So, typical to Anthony Daniels, every single thing that has to do with C-3PO, he's down for it. He doesn't care if it's a commercial. He doesn't care if it's a game. He doesn't care if it's for a cereal box and there's some reason he needs his voice attributed to it. He will do it. And that's what I love about Anthony Daniels. But once again, like I said, he's returning. I was reading this article. He just says Anthony Daniels returning to voice of C-3PO, though for the first time in virtual reality in the upcoming Oculus game, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, which will be available this holiday season. So, like I said, I don't know how much we're going to get of him. I would imagine if he's in it, probably quite a bit. He's probably going to be like the home base station or whatever, and we're going to see him and interact with C-3PO quite a bit.
Yeah, I assume he'll be one of our main characters to interact with.
Yeah, but like I said, more the merrier. I'm super excited to see that. Like I said, I just love Anthony Daniels. We had a chance to go see him at Star Wars Celebration 2019, and we got to see him speak and things of that nature. And he's just like one of the most open, doesn't care who you are, just come up, talk to you, just whatever kind of guy.
Right.
Of course, we didn't personally get to do this, but like he was staying in the same hotel with a lot of the fans and stuff, and he would just be right in the elevator and just like talking to people and stuff,
Right. Yeah.
So definitely harkens into this fact that where he can just like, oh, you guys are doing a random VR game that's not going to be very big? I'll still do C-3PO.
Yeah.
It's not about the money for him.
Right. It's all about just he understands that at this point he's a legend, and but he wants to continue to give that for the fans. Like he enjoys giving those interactions to the fans, and so
beautiful.
Yeah, and also they released a new gameplay trailer for this game. This new VR game, and so go and check that out as well. I think based off what I've seen, it looks like it's going to be very similar to the same style of gameplay as we got from Vader Immortal, which was also on the Oculus Quest. Mm-hmm. And of course, I'll be getting this day one without a doubt. I don't think they've given us an exact date yet. But it is supposed to be out sometime this, kind of holiday season, end of the year. So be on the lookout for that. Well, of course, we will let you know when that does get released. And I think it's going to be entertaining. I mean,
if anything, it's going to be a cool, like, just little... extra little like immersive thing about Star Wars, Yeah,
and last time we talked about it, we didn't know exactly for sure what the timeline was. And we do know the timeline now. It's set between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
There's that year span there. And so we do know now that that's set between there. So
yeah, so it's going to be really cool. On a side note, those of you who might want to jump into Oculus Quest, they actually are releasing a new one.
Yes.
Oculus Quest 2 or DOS.
Oculus Quest 2.
So yeah, that's probably what I'm going to end up getting. I was going to actually end up buying one anyway. Let's just talk about that for a second. So the Oculus Quest 2 is only $300. Yeah,
which
I thought that was pretty
interesting. Which is insane price that you can get that for that cheap.
Slightly off topic. Do we know that if it has ability for external storage? Because that's one of the reasons. Because it's the 300 one is 64 gigabytes, and then they have one that's undisclosed money for 254 gigabytes. I
think it's like once you get it, what you buy is what you get.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way for external.
Yeah.
But it's so the thing with it is like it's got a little bit better like processor and stuff in it. It's got a better screen. But I will say they did have to cut some corners for this cheaper version of it. Yeah. So like it doesn't have as good of a head strap on it.
Yeah.
And the controllers actually have less sensors than the
Really?
original one.
Huh.
So they did have to cut some corners to get that price down, but I think it's great overall. Like I'm probably not going to upgrade this time. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, my wife just got home, and I think you guys might be able to hear them, so we're gonna close the door really quick. But I do. I think that it's going to be great for people who don't have one yet. But I'm personally not going to get it because I think that it's maybe not necessarily the upgrade I'm looking for just yet. But
so if you're coming into it for the first time, you know what I'm saying, it might be.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if you're going first time, definitely get the 2. But for someone like me who already has one, I think I'm going to wait for maybe the 3, and we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, seriously, guys, really consider getting one of these because it's going to be great for Star Wars content, and I don't think this is going to be the last that we see of it. I think we're going to get even
most likely
more.
Not. And also, it is dependent on the success of what they have.
Right.
Clearly, Vader Immortal did pretty well for what it is.
Yes, it had huge success. Now, I do.
Yeah.
I don't expect this one to have as great a success as Vader Immortal did.
Right. Yeah. It's a bit different.
The big reason being Vader's not in it, so that's all of a sudden. There's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to get it because of that.
Well, and also it's one of those things where you see this and it's kind of like, okay, Adventures from Galaxy's Edge. You like that doesn't necessarily to the layman may not scream Star Wars.
Right.
But when you say Vader,
yeah,
everyone knows what Vader is or who Vader is. You know.
Yeah. But I'm all about it. I hope we get tons more of these, tons of new experiences. And it's kind of hard to explain until you put that headset on for the first time and experience it yourself. There's nothing really like it until you do it yourself and just see just how crazy it is and how it really can make you feel like you're in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
And it's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. So I'm hoping to experience it fairly soon. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think I say that every time we bring it up. But
yeah. So, well, what's sad is I have one. You could literally try it here.
Well,
we
was here the other day,
it.
like super long time. We should have done it, but we never
did.
did. We just literally just sat there on our phones talking to each other the whole time.
We'll make it a priority soon.
Or we could do a video of me reacting for the first time.
No, that's a great idea. That's exactly what we should do.
They don't pay me the big bucks for nothing.
All right, that's what we're gonna do. No, we're like that's legit. We'll do a YouTube video, or we'll post it on Facebook and stuff too for you guys.
Like 30 minutes of awkward silence and weird noises.
But like Braxton's first.
Whoa!
Braxton. Whoa! Well, what's great about it is you can stream what you're seeing onto a screen.
That's cool.
So we can show a screen of what you're seeing while you're doing it.
We're doing that.
Yeah.
So we'll
do that soon. We'll do that soon for you guys. It'll be funny.
Here's the thing. I've never even used VR before, ever. So this will
gonna be great.
This will be the first time I've ever done like VR, let alone Vader Immortal. So
it's going to be great. One of my friends was playing it. He tried it for the first time and he punched my wall with my controller.
Nice.
And the same guy, and he may listen to this. I don't know. We'll see. But same guy also had that controller. Had his own. He was trying someone else's VR and punched his TV and broke it.
Don't let that guy use a VR.
Sometimes certain guys you just need to stay away from VR. But we'll see. We'll see if Braxton's one of those or not.
It might be. I can't promise anything. Just clear some space.
Only time will tell. But let's jump into our rumors now. And our first rumor today is very interesting.
Yeah.
And it seems very far-fetched, but hey, we talk about every rumor we get our hands on.
Yeah.
Of course, just because we bring a rumor to you guys does not necessarily mean we believe it.
Correct.
We bring them to you just to debate, discuss, and yeah. So this is what we got here. Samuel L. Jackson is starring in a Mace Windu prequel, rumored to be in early development.
Interesting.
So what they're saying here is that Lucasfilm is looking at developing a project focusing on a young Mace Windu. A new actor would be cast to play a young Windu, but Samuel L. Jackson would still have a role as the adult version of the character. It should be noted that Lucasfilm has only considered this project, and it is unsure if the studio will decide to move forward with the project into further development.
Yeah,
so tell me, Braxton, what does this mean to you when you hear this? Because it means something to me.
Well, I'll just say I don't know what you're hinting at. I'll just say off the bat, I don't. It's plausible that they would consider it, as the article says. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't make sense for me for them to do that, especially go back in time. A prequel. I think the story. If anybody wanted a story of Mace Windu, it would be post him falling out the window. You know. Now that would be very difficult to make for a lot of different reasons, as we've discussed the past actually couple weeks. It seems like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It is surprising to me. I don't know. Go ahead. I think that's exactly what this project is. They're talking about having a young role, but also Samuel L. Jackson returning in his role. Yeah.
I think where it's going to be kind of a Kenobi situation where you do get the story of Mace Windu after the window. He is alive,
I see.
But we're also getting flashbacks to a younger Mace Windu for whatever reason they come up with.
Well, it could be like him. Like I guarantee, like the first couple episodes will be like him falling out the window, if it is real, right?
Yeah.
Him falling out the window, and as he's falling, it's flashing back to his childhood, or he's like falls and he's like walking through the streets like with a cowl on, and like it's flashing back to him training as a Jedi, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think whatever is going on in the current time would somehow there would be some kind of something to his past would be in it, and then that's where those connections are.
Yeah.
But to me, the fact that they're let's say that this rumor is true and there is some kind of talk about this, to me that means Mace Windu is alive.
Exactly.
They're claiming Mace Windu is probably alive, and so
that would be a huge release there.
Yeah,
that's the case.
I'm not against this series.
No, I'm not
as long
either.
as it has a good story to tell, and I think that it could be very interesting. But do I think that they will go forward with this, even if this rumor is true? I don't know.
Samuel L. Jackson is a very big fish, if you know what I'm saying, right? Like,
Yeah.
And yes, while he did do Star Wars stuff in the past, right? And Star Wars is big, don't get me wrong. For them to do this, it would have to be like a mini series.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a film, I don't think. It'd have to be like a mini series, if not a series, but probably mini series. But man, it would be hard, in my opinion, to do this. Now, I would love to see, I think we've talked about this in the past, but like him survive and him trying to, do whatever, and then how he ends up dying is like a big showdown with him and Vader. I would actually really like that.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you on that. I think it would be interesting if he did survive, and then a little bit farther down the road, Darth Vader finds out he's alive,
right?
Goes and finishes him off. Which is that necessarily a what a story Star Wars would want to tell?
Right, exactly.
I don't really know about that because that's a pretty dark ending, right?
Especially Disney Star Wars.
Yeah. So I don't know that we could get that particular story, but I think it would be really interesting for fans like you and me who kind of enjoy that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyways, be curious what you guys think. Maybe comment on this when we post it on Facebook. Let us know if you think that is ever a possibility, and if you would even want it. And if you did want it, what kind of story would you like to see from it?
Yeah,
so.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So our next rumor and our final rumor for this week, and Drew might have some more on this because I could not find the article for the life of me for some reason. We was talking about this, but last week we had talked about there being rumors kind of circulating where the reason the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer didn't drop on that night in August on the NBA Finals or whatever was because they had it, but there were some previous problems that they had to resolve, and due to the resolution of those problems, they changed the trailer itself, right? So now, this is rumor, but according to these rumors, one of the main reasons and one of the main problems is that they're actually going to be trying to ride out the Mandalorian from the Mandalorian. And essentially, when I say that, the rumor says that, Pablo Pascal had some troubles, that he didn't like this, so he's wanting to walk out, and therefore no more Mandalorian in the Mandalorian. I don't know that I believe that, but Drew, do you have any more on that for us?
So it sounds pretty crazy, right? I mean, this was something that Grace Randolph was talking about on Twitter that kind of got a lot of people like, whoa, what's that even mean? And we talked about it last week. What does that mean? And then so now she's given out some more detail about what she has heard, and she's basically saying that it came down to the fact that Pascal was upset that there were not more opportunities for Din Djarin to remove his helmet and show off the actor's face. This supposedly led to a confrontation between Pascal and Lucasfilm, with Pascal leaving the Mandalorian set at some point.
To me, this is just my personal, Braxton Taylor's personal thoughts. I think that's bull. I don't think that's real. Pablo Pascal has never been that kind of person. Now, I'm not buddy. I didn't FaceTime him last night and talking to us kids. I don't know him like that. But just from what I've seen, I've never seen him like, oh, I can't show my beautiful face. Well, then I'm out of here. I just think it's kind of crazy to me. Is it possible? Yes, right? Could it be like I just don't know him, right? And he really is like, hey, I did this to get publicity, and you're just showing this anonymous character.
Well, and this is also saying that season 2 does not show his face. And so,
like at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so again, who knows? We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But something to think about here is he's rarely been in the suit from what we understand. Especially in the first season, we know he was rarely ever in the suit. Brandon Wayne was actually the one who was in the suit a lot, And as some of you may know, he is, of course, the grandson of the legendary John Wayne.
Oh yeah,
And,
yeah, exactly.
So that guy's been in it more than Pedro Pascal,
Right.
most likely.
Right.
And now with the second season, we've heard he's been in the suit more, right? That's what everything's been saying, that he's actually been in the suit more this time. And so, but with all of that in consideration, we know that Pedro Pascal has done a lot of voiceover work for this, right?
Yeah, it's mainly been like a voice acting job.
A
Almost.
lot of it's been voice acting, and so, I mean, I could see his frustration.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Maybe he thought maybe I'm signing up for this to be a main character in a Star Wars story.
Yeah.
But then come to find out, 9 times out of 10, I'm actually just in a booth somewhere recording.
And that's the thing. If it was me, I'd want to be in the suit.
Yeah.
I don't really care if you show my face, but like I want to be in the suit acting. I want to, like, and so maybe if it's one of those things where we're like, well, actually, Brandon Wayne here has more of the walk we're looking for. Mm-hmm. So we just want your voice. We're gonna have him do all the, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I could understand getting a little upset with that.
Yeah, I mean, now being angry enough to walk off the set, maybe not. And when we put it in that light, I can see it. At first, when the article made it sound like, oh, because he doesn't get to show his face off, I don't know about that. But now that we've talked about it, it does seem more plausible that he's just like, hey, I don't care about showing my face off, but I thought I was going to be this main character, and here I am just voice acting for this figure, so to speak,
And, and again, this is a rumor. None of it could be true, but it is interesting, and what that could potentially mean for halfway through the season. And as you remember, that's what she was saying. She was saying about halfway, you'll notice a change.
Right.
And so
if the Mandalorian's gone, we'll know.
Well, and that's, I don't, it says he left for some time. It doesn't say necessarily that he was gone the entire time.
Right. Yeah.
All of that is very unclear. It's all unclear. But anyways, it's just something interesting to think about.
Yeah, exactly.
Something interesting to talk about. And just kind of what it means for the future of the show. I mean, this article is talking about, I guess Randolph implied that the alleged dispute left Pascal and Lucasfilm on bad terms and could affect the future of The Mandalorian. And saying they're asking if Pascal could end up even being replaced or written out of the show. Of course, I don't think written out of the show. That would make no sense. This show's called The Mandalorian.
It's literally called The Mandalorian.
So I think you would have to replace with another actor if it got that bad. Again, I think Pedro Pascal would be absolutely insane to give up this role.
He may not show his face on something like that, but it's still his voice. People already know, hey, Pablo Pascal is the Mandalorian. We all, no one thinks about Brandon Wayne. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He is the body, but I don't, when I see Mandalorian, I'm thinking of Pablo Pascal, right? Because I've seen his face at the end of season 1, and I hear his voice the entire time. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
I don't know. Even though if it's not perfect, I do think it would be kind of a great loss for him if he left.
Yeah, so only time will tell.
Yeah,
but
I guess we'll find out.
It's just an interesting thing there, and I guess we'll definitely find out by season 3. If they don't talk about it anytime during season 2, we'll find out in season 3 if he ends up.
Exactly.
If all of a sudden there's a voice that sounds a little slightly different, you'll know.
It's like,
wait a second.
This doesn't line up. All right. Well, I think let's go ahead and move on.
Let's move on to our releases. And the only release we have this coming week is Bounty Hunters issue number 5. That is all we got. But I do want to mention that we did have Star Wars, the main Star Wars comic on Wednesday and Darth Vader on Wednesday. And let me tell you, they are hot.
Hot off the presses,
so hot. I mean, my fingertips were sizzling when I was reading.
He's getting really worked up about this comic. Are you sure he's reading Star Wars?
He's got sweat dripping off me.
I had to drench it with a bucket of ice water afterwards.
Had to go stick my feet in some ice.
Take a cold shower.
Okay. No, but seriously,
boy.
They're really, really good. the Star Wars comic. Let me just say this. This isn't spoilers. Of course, we're going to have a spoiler, big, deep discussion about these in the near future.
Yeah.
But let me just say this for those of you who enjoy the Star Wars mainline comic. Maybe you've not been, maybe you haven't been reading it lately, or maybe you haven't read it at all. This right now, if you are a fan of Luke Skywalker, if you are a fan of Rebels, if you are a fan of, or hoping to be, or just interested in the High Republic, let me tell you, this has a little bit of all of that in it.
Wrapping
for
it
you.
all up. Yeah.
And so it went somewhere that I did not expect at all. I mean, I was so shocked. I was so caught off guard by it, and I wanted to like talk to somebody about it, but I didn't know who to talk to because I knew you hadn't read it yet. So
yeah.
I just talked to myself for a while, but
it's not too irregular.
no, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm saving it up. I haven't. I
Yeah.
had skipped a couple issues, so I was gonna just like wait till it's done.
We're gonna wait till it's done
and then read it all,
read
and then
it all.
prepare for the episode. So
Yeah. So anyways, it's a good one. I highly recommend it. And then going over into Darth Vader, for those who are interested there, listen, we're still all about the prequels right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is Vader after Empire, but the main storyline that's going on right now is very focused on aspects from the prequels. So if you're a prequel fan, this is for you. And also, we're still seeing some changes in Vader through this story. Some very significant changes that have some big implications, and it is a truly amazingly well told story.
Yeah.
Greg Pak, which I believe is the name of the author, is just doing a fantastic job with this series. He has gone far above, I think, anyone's expectations. He has hit it out of the park. And so, again, go check that out as soon as you can.
Nice. All right, so is that all? Okay. So, yeah, I'm excited to read it myself. I mean, because I had read, up to, I can't remember what issue before they had stopped making it for a little bit. Because that's what I'd read them pretty consistently until they stopped for a little bit.
Yeah.
Then when it came back, I kind of like lost track or whatever. But I'm pretty excited. I'm really excited because the way he's been talking about it is pretty good. So,
I'm serious. Like, as far as in any medium of Star Wars that we're getting right now, like, this is where it's at. This is where we're getting the biggest like actual like consequences in story. Like this has more meaning than anything else in Star Wars we've gotten in a while. So
yeah, I remember from what I saw, there was a huge like in the Darth Vader comic, there's a huge like what in the world twist at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And then I remember the resolution. Of course, it explained itself very well, and it wasn't what you thought it was. But
right.
Anyway, so very cool stuff. I can't wait to read the rest of it, and I can't wait to share that with you guys and review it and discuss it and stuff like that.
Lots of discuss there. So go ahead and make sure you catch up with those so that when we do that discussion, maybe you guys can be involved. Maybe we'll make a post for you guys to ask your questions specifically about
for
those,
that,
both of those comics, because we might do them both on the. Well, we'll see how it turns out, but
it might be enough.
Doubling up on
it might be
we'll
like
see.
1 week is Darth Vader, 1 week.
Yeah, we'll have to see how we do it, but.
All right, well, without any further ado, like I said, get prepared for that. But without any further ado, we're going to go ahead into our Q&A for this week. As you guys know, we always ask you guys to ask us questions, topics, and more on Facebook and Instagram. And this week we had a couple questions, but some of them coincided with our main topic. So we're going to take all of those. We're going to have 3 questions and then input those ones that were related to our main topic in the main topic. So this week's first question comes from Kristen Perry, which she asked this last week. So this was from the Q. She says, why was Jar Jar Binks actually banished from his home? As we see in episode 1, he talks about being banished. He said that he was banished because he was quote unquote clumsy. But how bad was this clumsy? So there is actually a direct quote from episode 1. So if you remember, the Qui-Gon saves Jar Jar from the big battle, blah, blah, blah. They go down to his home, and they do all their stuff, and they're leaving, right? It's this scene where we see where why he was actually banished. And he said something along the lines of like, Mr. Costa, maybe 2 little bitty accidents. You'd say, boom, gasa. Go ahead, here's the Krugs, right? Then crashing their bosses, hey, blibber, then banished. I'm so sorry you had to do that. Andrew insisted on it.
I'm so glad you did it.
So, you may not caught that, but what that means is those ships that they're driving are called Hey Blibber submarines. And essentially, Boss Nass, which is the big old dude, right? Which is like the
big old frog-looking dude.
The old Presidente over these dudes. Anyway, he, Jar Jar crashed his personal submarine, essentially. Yeah. And because he's like that, very cocky, arrogant, like you're completely banished because you crashed my...
my headphone flung my headset across the room.
I was not thinking, but probably just like maxed out the mic too. Sorry,
oh
guys.
Yeah, we did. I can tell.
Oh, sorry, guys. We're getting crazy now. So, long story short, his accident, from at least what we can tell, maybe there was something more than this, but from what we can tell, according to episode 1 itself, he crashed Boss Nass's submarine. So that's why he got kicked out. That's why he got completely banished from his home.
There you go.
So there you go, Kristen.
Thank you as always, Kristen.
Yes, of course. So our second question.
Our number one fan.
Yes, our actual top number one fan, according to Facebook. Yep. And according to her actions, I guess. Yeah. We appreciate that.
We do.
So our second question comes from Alex Mason, who says, I know you guys have briefly touched on this before, but now that we are getting closer to it, do you think we are going to learn more about Yoda's species in Mandalorian Season 2? Now, this is something we could have included into the main topic, but it's specific enough that I thought we could talk about it. Yeah. But in the last sentence, he says, do you want to learn more about his species, or would you rather it be a mystery? So I'm going to be short, sweet, and simple here. I could lean both ways. It would be super cool to know about Yoda species after all of these years, right? That's one thing that was always left a mystery. But I'm almost leaning towards I wanted to keep it a mystery, right? Because it's just that one thing that we just will never know, right? It's just that, I'm kind of torn, right? Like part of me wants to know and loves to figure out a mystery. But at the same time, other part of me who loves Star Wars so much is that like part of the magic of Star Wars is that it's so big that you're not going to know everything. And once we begin to know everything, it's going to be able to eventually take away some of that magic, right? Yeah. So I think not knowing who Yoda is and Yaddles and the child species is, it adds some element of magic to it, I guess. I don't know. There's not really a better way. So I'm kind of torn, but I personally think that, they'll try to touch on it because, in fact, we're going to watch here in a minute. In the trailer, they address that. You have to find this child species. You have to find his people. So they're definitely going to try, but I don't know that they will find him. And if they, on my own accord, I don't know that I want them to. So, Drew, what do you think?
Well, I go back to the rumors that we heard even before Season 1 ever aired. And we didn't even know there was going to be a Baby Yoda involved. And the rumors never really talked about there being a Baby Yoda involved. Yeah. But there were rumors about the Mandalorian going to a whole, civilization of Yodas. Yeah. And learning more about their species. That was actually a rumor. Yeah. And I always go back to that and wonder if that was actually a part of the Season 2 story. Yeah, that you never know. Had already been established. You know what I mean? And that's where that rumor comes from. But I will say, personally, when I think about it, that's always been like one of the big off-limit things, right?
Like no touchy.
Like Yoda species, name, all that stuff has always been one of the big off-limits things of Star Wars. Yeah. Now, I think that under Dave Filoni and George Lucas's protege, I think that he would be allowed to do something. If anyone,
if anybody, right? If anyone was going to do it or should do it, it would. And
I guarantee you, George Lucas will have input on it.
Oh, 100%. And we already know he's been on set. So
yeah, I guarantee you, if that were to to happen, George Lucas will have some part of that. And we know that Baby Yoda has a name. Now,
Yeah.
if that means it's his original name, which would then mean we probably do find his family,
Right.
or they just name him something, and you know what I mean, and then
Exactly. Yeah.
so it depends on which way that goes.
Right.
But for me, I kind of like the idea of it remaining a mystery. I don't
Yeah.
know that I need to know the answer to that. Even though I think it could be interesting if done right,
Oh,
and
man,
seeing a
it would
bunch
be
of
so
seeing a
crazy.
bunch of
Yeah.
Yodas
Yeah.
could be pretty cool.
That'd be insane.
But again, I don't know that I won't need it.
Right.
And I think for the story of the Mandalorian, when you think about, they're searching for Baby Yoda's family. I think that for me, the story might be even better if they look for his family. They never find his family,
Right.
but realize that he already has his family.
Right. And I think that's kind of what they're
And
going to lean
with
to.
with the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda together, they are a family,
Right.
And so I personally think that would be actually the better story than him finding his family, leaving him there and go off.
And I wouldn't mind cutting, or like splitting it in half by saying like they find some things, right? Like remnants of maybe some of his people,
Maybe,
or
yeah.
or maybe even like a location, like but never actually find them.
But the
you know what I'm saying?
thing too, and again, we're going to talk about this in a little bit with the trailer. It seems that they're not necessarily looking for his family; they're looking for the Jedi, and
right, yeah.
and that's where, them looking for the Jedi is not going to necessarily lead him to this family, because I don't know that the Jedi knew where the species came from either. Does Yoda even know where his species came from? I mean, who
Right.
knows,
I mean,
right? I don't
if
even.
anybody would, it would be him, but who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, Yoda could have been dropped off at the doorstep of the Jedi Council, or the Jedi Temple, for all we know.
Yeah,
But,
exactly. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, that could be like the same for Yaddle and same for Baby Yoda. They just kind of like magically get
Yeah, you
dropped
never
off by
know.
somebody, something, whatever.
So, either way, I think that there's interesting ways it could go. But I think personally, I like the idea of it remaining a mystery. So I think we're both on the same page there.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's go on to our third and final question, which comes from Brandon Dukes. And he says, as we look back into Dooku Jedi Lost, which was the audiobook / real book.
Audiobook that got turned into a script.
Right. He says, we can see that Yoda is already jaded. This is feeding off of last week's question, I believe. Even though Dooku was essentially the prodigy student, minus his arrogance, why do we think that Yoda and the Council was unable to see Dooku hiding the comm link and ultimately preventing him heading down the dark road? I think I know the answer, as we saw him when Sifo Dyas had the vision, or I misread that, but anyway, Sifo Dyas had the vision of the destroyed planet. So I will start with my humble opinion, because I didn't read it. Like I said, I'm not the greatest reader, so Andrew will have the better answer than I will. It's just kind of something that like I've what I know about Star Wars just in general, and what I know about Yoda, what I know about in just common sense, I guess. But let me think. At that time, it's obviously happened in the past. We know it has. But at that time, Dooku was one of the first in the modern era of Jedis to turn to the Sith. We know it's happened before, but he's one of the first ones in the modern time that we see, canonically speaking. And it could be one of those things that they just didn't want to see it, right? You're right. Yoda was getting jaded. The Jedi are coming out of the High Republic, well, much later, obviously like 150 years or whatever it was, right? And they're kind of getting away from their ideals. They're becoming more dogmatic and bureaucratic. They're aligning more with the Republic. They're becoming less of like who they're supposed to be. So they are becoming more jaded. Instead of holding the rigid morals that they would have, they're letting some things loose because they don't want to admit that they're infallible. And like I said, just harkening back to what I originally said, also he, as you said, he was the golden child. He was he was one of the best, and therefore, I think maybe they didn't necessarily want to believe that he could turn, that he was supposed to be the best, that one, the greatest among them. They didn't want to believe that he would be able to be fallen away. So, as someone who hasn't read the book, that's just my humble opinion. But Drew obviously will have a better explanation than I will.
So, Dooku gets this comm link from Sifo Dyas, who he's able to communicate with his sister through this comm link, and I don't personally think that the comm link is the reason he fell to the dark side or started to fall to the dark side. I think with Sifo Dyas or with Dooku's beliefs, I don't know that. I think it would have ended up being something else if it hadn't been that. I'm not totally convinced the Jedi always fall because of having family that they care about, as we see in Legends after the Jedi fall and then Luke builds a temple and stuff. They can have families, they can love and all that stuff. And I actually like to believe that that's actually what Jedi should do. And it's just the way you go about it, the way you handle it, right?
Yeah.
And so what I do know though is that Sifo Dyas does have a vision of this world that's going to be destroyed, and basically Yoda says we don't deal in absolutes. The future is always in motion, and so they kind of just like pushes it to the side. The visions aren't always true, that kind of stuff.
Right, exactly.
And so anyways, they finally, Dooku and Sifo Dyas finally convince Yoda to go with them. They go to this planet, and anyways, it almost like everyone dies, and they almost even die.
Right.
And Dooku, I think that's kind of Dooku's breaking point, where he realizes that he blames it on the council that they didn't listen to them, and they could have avoided that. And he starts to see that the Republic is not what they should be, and they're so stuck in their traditional beliefs,
right?
That they are not. They're in the end they're failing because of it, and so that's what makes Dooku. I think that more than anything is what causes Dooku to kind of fall away. He starts to see that, and then as he gets older, he ends up, to make it a long story short, he ends up leaving the council, and he leaves the council to go back to his home on Sereno and becomes a count there, and kind of follows along with his family. And it's actually after that Palpatine ends up coming to him.
Yeah.
And then he turns...
It was only right before episode 1 that he really even
so
turns.
A lot of people think he turned... like he was a Jedi and turned to the dark side. That's not actually true. He gave up being a Jedi, went back to his family home, and then ended up
later
turning
on,
to the dark side.
Exactly.
Because of the influence of Palpatine.
Right.
But he still, in a sense... He wanted to see a change, and that's why he joined the Separatists.
It was more of it was a practical thing. It wasn't like he had so much hate in his heart that he became a Sith because of that. It's because he had a practical viewpoint, and he thought the Sith
which
would
then he
help
did
him.
start to get corrupted through Palpatine.
Yeah.
But then you could start to see where he started to realize he had made some bad decisions towards the end of his life. But yeah, so... anyways, that's a lot to say for the question.
Right.
But I think that, the council paid more attention to Dooku, had they actually given him the time and listened to his concerns, I think that, maybe that could have changed things. Maybe Dooku wouldn't have ended up where he was. But I, of course, we'll never know because they didn't. And, but I don't necessarily know that the comlink itself was the end for Dooku. I think he could have had a relationship with the sister and still been a Jedi. It was just the other things along with that caused the fall.
Right, exactly. So kind of a long answer because it's a big question. But I hope that answered your question, and we'd like to hear what you think. Because you say, I think I know the answer. Because blah blah.
Right. Yeah, we'd like to know.
We'd like to hear your thoughts
what your actual answer is. You can just message us if you want, or you can put it on the comments of the episode, whatever you'd like.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, I'd love to hear some more on that. But moving on, we are going to go to our main topic, and this is the big one. This is one that you guys have all been waiting on for quite a while now.
Oh yeah.
And we finally got the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer. And so how we're going to do this is we are going to break it down frame by frame, And so if you guys want to go ahead and get your tablets, your phones, whatever, ready, get it onto YouTube. Just go to that official trailer, season 2 official trailer, and we're just gonna go through it, talk about it, speculate. We got, we'll be fine. We might go a little,
minutes.
we might go a little over,
too
but
much,
it won't be a problem.
Because the video is almost 2 minutes. So if you double that, that's like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead and grab that. But also, our friend JB, he had a question. And so I'm going to have Braxton read that now before we jump into this.
Oh, well, yeah, and that's kind of why I wanted to bring it into this, because he was just basically asking about the trailer, and well, hey, we're going to be talking about it. But he just says, I reckon you guys will probably be doing this main topic, and very astute observation, JB.
Smart, JB.
You're so smart. Anyway, so those English genes on you. Anyway, but he says, I'll ask anyways. And after finally being able to watch the Holy Grail in all of its glory, which is the Mandalorian 2 trailer, what are your thoughts on the characters you've seen in it? Possible Sabine Wren, potential Boba Fett Easter eggs. Are you guys more excited now? Because I know I sure as heck am. So much to talk about in the trailer.
So yes, I am more excited.
I am.
But we're just going to jump right into it. We'll talk about all those things you just said as we go through the trailer.
So I will say off top, I don't know how loud this is going to be because we're just watching it together. Second of all, if you hear me going in and off the mics, because I'm trying to pause it. So bear with me.
Yeah, we don't have the best setup yet for this kind of thing. We will, though. We will, though. We're working on it.
So go ahead and count to 3, 2, 1, Andrew. So we can start this at the same time.
Oh, okay. 3, 2, 1. All right, so go ahead and just pause right here.
Wow, already. Okay.
Or actually, no, not. Wait. wait till the.
I know. I'm like waiting for the ship to come up. Whatever.
Oh, sorry, I thought it comes a little quicker than that. Yeah, so we get the Razor Crest here. Go ahead and pause it like right there. So we can tell it's damaged.
Yeah.
So they've definitely been in some kind of battle here.
And I, from my perspective, I think this is maybe alluding to the fact that they're being forced to land wherever they end up going to.
Yeah.
So we're not sure what these planets are off the top of our head.
Yeah, as you can see, even like the back, like the door there is like hanging open.
It might be Earth. I don't know. Anyway.
I read I watched something where somebody was saying it was Earth, and I was like,
good grief.
No, it's not.
No,
Earth.
but yeah, I mean, like even the hangar bay door is open, so like they got some pretty hefty damage. So we're gonna go ahead and start back up.
Yeah. Lucasfilm. Oh yeah, just stop right here. So we have the Mandalorian Baby Yoda walking up. In this, maybe it looks more like almost kind of like a rough city, kind of like maybe even like a Nar Shaddaa type.
Well, that's what I was going to allude to, because later on we get to see like a lot of graffiti.
Yeah.
I think of, like the Smuggler's Moon or Nar Shaddaa or whatever how you say it.
I don't even know how you say it.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's Nar Shaddaa. I don't know.
Nar Shaddaa.
Anyway, but it's like the Smuggler's Moon. I want to say that it could be that. It's difficult to say from what we see, of course. But also in the background, I will point out the narration is from the Armorer and the Mandalorian at the end of season 1. They're kind of recapping and basically, hey, you have this baby. It's your responsibility now to go find its family. It's your responsibility to, he's part of your clan now.
Right.
And anyway, so that's what you're hearing in the background. We're gonna restart.
So, and also something that maybe could be... Oh, here, pause it. Something there when you see them from the, like, opposite view, you see, like, their backs walking into this.
Yeah.
That's where all that graffiti is.
Right.
Which I saw a brightened image, and there's, like, a lot of graffiti.
Yeah, there's tons.
Yeah. And I heard one person say maybe that could be, like, maybe even a Rebels location. What's that place called? Man, I just had it in my head.
You know me, I don't know the names of many things.
Neither do I. That's the problem. But it's a place that Lothal.
Oh,
which
yes.
did have a lot of graffiti and stuff.
True.
And this is a Dave Filoni project, so
very well could tie in that way.
So yeah.
Now we paused at 38 seconds here, and we're got a still image over Tatooine. So we're back at Tatooine again. So this is pretty interesting. Yeah. This is many times we're coming to Tatooine.
Yeah, this is definitely Tatooine.
Well, we see Tusken Raider on top of a Kardashian lipped bantha. Throwback to that episode.
Man, I'm so excited to see that.
I love
just to see that Bantha and Tusken Raider.
It's a throwback to
Tatooine-
OG trilogy.
Yeah,
man.
that
It's so
Tatooine
good.
landscape, it's beautiful, and I love that the Bantha's mouth moves with the talking that's going on in the background. Have you noticed that?
whoa.
Like take it back
that the
a little
armor?
bit, and watch the Bantha's mouth move as it goes. It's hilarious.
You must reunite it with its own kind.
See
it's
where
always-
it says where, and his mouth
Dude,
goes
it's
at the exact
exactly
same
the same.
time.
Okay, so now
yeah, go back.
So yeah, now we're on this snowy planet, going
Yeah.
going down into some kind of ravine. I'm not sure where this
So-
would be, but
Well, so
oh,
the snowy planet
It c-
kind
I
of
had a theory.
could be Ilum.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I had a theory it might be Elon because as we see, they're talking about finding his people.
Yeah.
Referring to the Jedi, and where did the Jedi like the hub of all Jedi's spiritual force
Right.
planet plus where all the kyber crystals come from is
Yeah,
Ilum,
is
right?
Ilum.
So it very well could be Ilum.
Yeah, and what's interesting is we see this big crack. Could that technically? I mean,
The start of
well. So we know in this time period that Starkiller Base is already being created on
Mm-hmm.
Ilum, because at the end of the what's that game called, Jedi Fallen Order?
Oh yeah, Yeah.
Like if you go back to Ilum later, you can see
There's like a big base
There's the
there.
big like crack
Yeah.
in the planet.
Yeah, so it very well could be. Now, this would probably, in this timeline, I'd have to do the studying to know for sure, but I would say this probably have to be like the very beginnings of Starkiller Base.
Well, it's not. It wouldn't be the beginnings because they already
Really?
had started.
Yeah, that's true.
They had
Yeah.
already started to do stuff to the planet,
Yeah.
and that was only a couple of years after Revenge of the Sith.
True.
Yeah. But what we do know is, of course, the Empire would have had to have stopped. They wouldn't have, of course, finished whatever they were doing.
Right,
there.
they'd have stopped for a little bit.
But the First Order would have
kind of restarted
would
what
have
they'd
restarted.
done. Yeah.
And so we know that they've talked about already that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have hinted that we're going to start to see some beginnings of the First Order. And what better way to see some
Yeah.
beginnings of the First Order than for them to go to Ilum and see the beginning
Exactly.
of Starkiller Base?
Yeah, and they're kind of trying to tie all that together, so it makes sense. You could definitely probably at this timeline see some First Order activity and be a good introductory thing there.
Or it's
yeah.
just some snowy planet.
It could just be some snowy planet. I personally hope that it's Ilum.
I hope
because
it's
that'd
Ilum,
be
too.
really cool. We see like the ghost of some of the Jedi.
It would
maybe,
make a lot of sense that that's one of the locations they go looking for the
Kyber
Jedi.
crystal starts calling out to Baby Yoda.
Yeah, you never know. It's
right.
very true.
So we are at 43 seconds. So we're gonna go ahead and start again.
Yeah, so here we see them
Oh, yeah.
landing on this planet. Looks like they've just walked out, like they're maybe just leaving their ship. And I think we get another. Okay, so they were on a. So this is just weird.
Yeah,
I don't know
they're
if
on
it's weird to you, but it's weird to
boats.
me. Yeah, Star Wars on boats.
I don't
Like-
think we've ever seen that before that I,
I
know
think
of.
there may have been. I think we saw some of that maybe in Star Wars Resistance, because they were kind of on a complete water-based planet, and it
Yeah.
seems like maybe there was something like that in that.
Yeah, I
and of
don't
course,
know.
we've seen like them going like underwater in boats, like in the
right.
prequels and stuff.
Yeah, like the submarines and stuff.
But
yeah.
this like is just like almost like a pirate
Just
ship type,
traditional
like
boat,
traditional
yeah.
boat, and it's very weird, but I like it.
Yeah, very
I like
cool.
it. And as you can see, there's a lot of Quarren here.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay, we're going back here for a second. So about 49, 50 seconds mark, they're on this boat. I don't know what you're trying to comment on because I have something else I was going to say, but
well, I was just looking to see if there's any other species here other than Quarren.
corn? Yeah.
Oh God.
That's
Sorry if it's really loud. Okay, and then we get the first big thing here.
Yeah, so they're on the ship, from what we can tell, and also we get this hooded figure. It's a female.
It's our first look at Ahsoka, and the
Well, honestly, besides the face paint, like it kind of looks like the actress that we've been talking about.
So many people have been saying it's Ahsoka, and I'm like,
it's not.
come on, guys.
It's not.
Come on.
She has orange skin, like orange and white skin.
Well, also, you can't even... the hood doesn't even... You know
it doesn't
what I
have
mean?
the tendrils.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we don't know who this is. There's a lot of people who have been speculating that might be Sabine Wren. I don't know. It could be. I'm not saying it couldn't. I have no clue, right, who this is. But
well, and
it just
so
doesn't make sense to me.
It follows up with the... what in the background she's like saying Jedi, and then it shows her,
And
right?
that's what I was about
and
to
so,
say. Yeah.
but I think it's a red herring. I think they're trying to make you think
that it's a Jedi.
that this is a
Yeah.
Jedi,
or some kind of force wielder of some sort.
Yeah, I think they're trying to trick us into thinking that. The trailer's trying to get that in your head. But my guess, I think this might very well be Sabine.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, but
And this
I
is
don't
played
know.
by Sasha Banks. Or it's a completely new character. But for me, what would work is if let's say they're going out and they're looking for a Jedi, right? They've heard some things about this Jedi somewhere, and so they're going off looking for it, and they stumble upon. So they're on the track, and anyways, Sabine is kind of like watching them, watching their. Because Ahsoka's probably told her to or something, And
Yeah,
so
I never know. Yeah,
she's kind of like spying on them at this point because they're getting close, and
yeah,
something
that's
like
possible.
that.
That's true.
Or
yeah.
this is. I've heard some people say maybe this is actually some kind of dark force user.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone on the dark side, of course, because of like the black robe. I'm sure
Right.
a lot of people. I'm sure that automatically implies that. Or maybe this is just some completely random new character we know nothing
Yeah,
about.
who knows? Yeah.
I will say when I look at her face, it does not scream Sabine to me.
And that's kind of what I was thinking too, which you can't really base it off of looks too much,
But
I guess.
exactly, because it's an animated character. So, it's the chances of it looking exactly like their animated character is very slim
very
to none.
slim, yeah.
So
who knows?
So
I
I
mean,
could, when I think about it realistically, I could see her playing this character.
yeah.
If they chose to do so.
And I guess to me, if they're gonna include Ahsoka in this
Mm-hmm.
series, specifically this season, it's much more likely to be Sabine if they end up going to include Ahsoka.
Right. It makes sense to have Sabine in it, right?
Right.
And I think what could be very telling is if like she's in that robe and she pulls back her hood and you see the colored hair.
Yeah, and like I said,
And
hair can
that's-
change though too. So that's the only problem, So
Yeah,
you
but
never know.
any kind of, because she always changes her hair color. But I'm saying if she's got this bright, colorful hair, for most fans, they're immediately going to go, it's Sabine.
It's Sabine. Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of like the big tell.
Yeah.
And
Only-
very well might be why she's in a hood.
Well, and that could be it too, because she by this point she may be very well known for her hair like that or something.
Yeah.
So who knows? So only time will tell. I guess we'll have to see who that is. So
Yeah.
I'll go ahead, start her up again.
You expect me to search the galaxy and deliver
So here they are. You can keep going, but here they are. They're kind of talking about him finding his species.
disappears.
She disappears. Yeah.
This is the way.
This is the way. You have to go look for his species. So it keeps going. They're on this boat for a little while. Okay, so yes, up there. So now it cuts over after that to the Razor Crest is now being, from what I can tell, escorted.
Looks like escorted.
By two X-Wings.
Two
Now
X-Wings.
that is
To New
sick.
Republic X-Wings, which is cool.
I don't know why, but that just got me hyped when I
No,
saw
it did
that.
me too.
Just seeing the Razor Crest with two X-Wings. Ah, man, I just loved it so much.
Yeah, so it looked very cool.
Looks very cool. But I'm gonna say I think it's one of those things like they're searching for the Jedi, so he's wanting to go to a New Republic base, and so now two X-Wings are kind of like on both sides, like escorting him to where he needs to go. Like, hey, you're gonna go where we want to go. It's not like it's not like a dogfight as from what we can tell, and it's not really like a oh hey friend. It's like hey we're escorting you kind of thing. Yeah. So that's what it looks like anyway. So now though,
Interesting.
the
then the next scene
clip,
where they're like in the clouds.
it looks like they're
Looks like
chasing
the
him.
the X-Wings are chasing him.
So it could very well be that they're escorting him. Something happens to some degree, and he.
Or it's the other way
Blast off.
around. They're chasing him right now, but then later on they actually end up being...
Well, vice versa. One of those two scenarios, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, very interesting. Great clip there. I love that look.
Well-
like the clouds with the sun coming through. It looks so cool.
I will say this: when they're chasing him, they're in atmosphere, and beforehand they're out in space. So,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like I think it's two. It could be potentially two separate even episodes. Like it may
and that
not
could
even,
be too. Yeah.
You know, you can't with trailers. You never know one
What
clip.
yeah.
Where it's
Very
at,
misleading at
Yeah,
times,
they're very
yeah.
misleading. So nothing's probably like.
Yeah.
I would say even like the Mandalorians like fighting at the end and which we'll get to it, but he goes, "This is the way." I bet he doesn't actually say that in the
Right.
when he's after he's
No,
done
probably
fighting.
not.
I think that's for the trailer.
Probably not.
But we'll see.
Just like when we got Duel of the Fates and Rise of Skywalker trailer, but whatever.
That one stings. I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah. Okay, let's just go. Let's go. We can talk about that later. Okay, so pause that.
back to that.
So very next, this is a big one that a lot of people have been talking about. The very next, after the X-wing chase scene, it clips over to
very quickly.
very quick, like a second. It clips over to the Mandalorian riding a speeder. Yeah, right there. Clips to the Mandalorian from what we can tell. Anyway.
Whoa. We don't know that it's the Mandalorian.
On
the speeder.
Let me say this. From what we can tell, it's the Mandalorian, right? Because he's wearing Mandalorian type armor, from what we can see. But if you look at the jetpack,
If you look at the jetpack,
it is very reminiscent of Boba Fett's.
And also on the side there, on the side of the speeder is a helmet. And if you look very, very closely, it looks like Boba Fett's helmet.
See, I didn't see that part.
Look.
Let me see it. That's kind of hard to see.
It's really hard to
But
see.
I think for me, the biggest tell is the jetpack.
Well, yeah, the
but-
jetpack for sure. But
Yeah.
here's the thing, and this is the one thing to remember, guys. If they stick with canon, there's a good chance that's not Boba Fett.
Cobb Vanth.
It's Cobb Vanth.
Yeah. So, which to me, this is what we talked about, right? We had heard rumors back in March, whatever, right? That Boba Fett was going to be in season 2, and me and you both said that doesn't even make sense, right? It doesn't make sense because how would they bring in Boba Fett and it not completely destabilize Din Djarin as a character, right?
Yeah.
Now the Mandalorian, who cares? It's Boba Fett, guys. Who cares about Din Djarin, right?
Yeah.
It would make sense if we saw Boba Fett's armor. Everybody's like, oh, and it comes up. Oh, actually, it's Cobb Vanth, who's
Yeah.
the sheriff of Freetown on Tatooine.
Right.
So-
which I still think Boba Fett's going to show up and he's going to want his armor back.
That could be the case. Now, it
I
could be
think-
one of two things. Like, either way, if that is Boba Fett's armor, we know Boba Fett survives. And that's all I care about at the core of it. It's either one of two things. He sells his armor and he's done. He doesn't care. He hangs up the cowl, so to speak. Or he got his armor stolen from him. He's coming back for it.
Because I think it's going to be interesting because a lot of people that don't, consume everything Star Wars,
Right.
but watch The Mandalorian, and they know what Boba Fett looks like. They're going to see this guy come up and like, it's Boba Fett. And then, take his
Yeah.
helmet off and it's what. And again, some people still aren't going to understand what's going on. But
Yeah.
but for most of us, we're going to go, oh,
And it's not Morrison, or
it's
what
not
his first name is.
It's not Boba Fett.
yeah.
It's Cobb Vanth.
Right.
And I could see them really debating back and forth
Tamara
on
Morrison, that's
on like if like is this a good idea? Do we just forget that ever happened? Do we just bring back Boba Fett? And they might.
Yeah.
They might just write that out. I mean,
Who
they might be
knows?
like, you know what? That was a
And
story.
that might have been the creative.
That was a story that was told before we ever decided to do Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Let's just pretend it never happened.
Well,
and
I know we're kind of taking our time here, going in a hurry, I guess. But I do just
we're
want
all right.
to. I just want to say
we only
this.
get it. We only get a big trailer like this every once in a while. So
Well, I do just want to say this though. We have those rumors that there was a big directive change during the middle of the season where they said like, hey, we need to dial this back and make sure it stays with Mando and the baby because that's what people want. That's what the story is about. And it could be that they brought in Boba Fett and they're like, hold on, this is like destabilizing the story, right? It's destabilizing what people watch this for. And that they might have had to change that and made it into Cobb Vanth or made it.
you're
into
really
someone.
going speculative now.
But hey, I mean, I'm
we'll
bringing it
see
out,
what
you
happens.
know? We'll see.
I personally hope it's Cobb Vanth, and then we get Tamara Morrison showing up,
Yeah.
and he's like, "I want my stuff
Now,
back." That's what I.
At the end of the
hope
day,
we get.
this could not even be Boba Fett's armor. So you're talking about
it
nothing.
may be absolutely nothing, but that's the whole point of speculating.
Exactly.
But anyways,
so let's go ahead.
Let's go
Let's
next.
go ahead. Yeah. I'm just thinking there might be a reason why they showed it like for like 2 seconds.
So
but
and then
anyway.
we get I'm not gonna be able to remember anyone's names.
Oh, I didn't want to look this up before we.
we should add this stuff ready. Grief Karga and Cara Dune.
Yeah. Grief and Cara. Yeah.
As you can see, it looks like they're on Navarro again. Actually, looks like a little like brighter. I mean, you still got the destruction from the
battle
that they had in the first season, I think. But like, it looks like maybe they've kind of cleaned up a little. Like maybe things are actually going a little better there.
Yeah.
And
he's. I mean, they both look good. He's dressed up kind of nice. He's got some like nice clothes on.
And he's got that big white beard, which again implies you would think it would imply that that we've jumped in time a little, but I kind of think maybe that's not the case, and that he just grew out his beard, and you know what I mean.
Didn't care about dyeing it or whatever.
Yeah. So, but we'll see.
Yeah. So let's go ahead on here. Okay, so we got some X-wing activity.
Yeah. So again,
here.
looks like we're on Navarro.
TIE fighter activity.
And yeah, it looks like we got some TIE fighters here. It's the same cool ones that we got.
With those foldable wings
that we got in the first season there.
Yeah, pretty cool. So this is the first time
I love this.
That we see this scene inside of like an Imperial,
Yeah, it just looks like a traditional Empire
corridor
ship or whatever corridor with nice clean stormtroopers running through it.
Yeah.
And for some reason that just I really like that.
Yeah, it gets me pumped up.
I guess it's just because we haven't seen a whole lot of that traditional like that scene right there is something straight out of like Empire.
Oh yeah.
And we're getting something like that again now, and
Yeah.
it's cool to see anytime
it looks
we get
great.
it. Because we've only seen mostly the First Order, and it's a little different, so it's cool to see that.
Absolutely. It's good to see that throwback a little bit. So then right afterwards,
this is awesome, yeah.
Yeah, we see these scout troopers who are riding speeders on maybe Navarro still, I don't know. And
it looks like it's still Navarro based off you can see some like
volcanic
stuff going on.
Yeah, and it's really cool. They're like jumping off this platform and going super far down and like stabilizing, and it's very cinematic, very beautiful.
This is no place for a child.
I love the like foot when he like drags his foot across the ground as it's
that was
sliding.
very cool. Yeah.
Oh, and so here we get Mando using his jetpack for the first time.
Flight to the Phoenix.
As he kind of like he starts running and then he just shoots off. It looks so good.
What was it called? Like the Trial of the Phoenix or Flight of the Phoenix or whatever they call it. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Pretty cool though. So
then we're back to this one like whatever this city that has a lot of graffiti and stuff.
Yeah.
We got this guy hanging upside down. And it looks like he's
like a lamppost
shooting or something.
Yeah, either Mando's trying to get him down or he's the one that just put him up there. I can't really tell yet, but clearly very hostile environment. Whatever is going on here.
Yeah,
Which it look like a
I
nice
know some
place.
people have speculated this also might be Mos Eisley because there was a lot of vandalization that had happened after, like with the.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure I'm sold on that though.
I don't know that I'm sold on that.
This has a different vibe to it.
It does. And I'm saying now they will be on Tatooine. So I mean, geographically speaking, it could right. But in both of these scenes where we see this graffiti place has been at night, so we haven't seen the day.
It's kind of hard to tell.
But
what's really
if you look in the
on.
background of this scene specifically, it looks like it goes uphill. See, there's like lights in the background or something.
In the background.
I don't know yet. So
hard to tell for sure. Maybe a new place too.
It could be. Who knows?
Okay, so
they're walking through icy caves,
and as you see, again, it looks very reminiscent of Ilum there, with that big long. Oh my! I just hit
punch the mic. Good grief, man!
With that big long entrance into it looks like they're going into this cave. Again, that could easily be Ilum.
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, and then there we get the sky crest like falling,
like plummeting through the atmosphere,
and that might actually be that same scene that we see at the beginning where it's starting
breaking down.
It's starting to break down. It might completely break down and then fall, which of course means he's stuck wherever he lands.
And it could be this graffiti place. That's why he's there. Who knows?
Exactly. It appears from what I saw, the planet is unfamiliar to me.
Yeah.
And so wherever he gets potentially crash landed on might be a whole new planet.
Yeah,
and so
because it doesn't seem like a very nice place. You wouldn't choose to be there. Hey, go ahead a little bit. Okay.
Now.
Now this is pretty nice. Hey, what's the timestamp here? So wait, we can make sure everybody's looking at us. 125.
125.
Okay, so we're at 125 right now. We've taken 15 minutes on a. I'm just kidding. I know you guys love it. Don't matter. So back in January, Dave the King Filoni had posted a Twitter post of this like statuette of a Gamorrean, and it's like, what in the world is this about, right? Yeah. And it was all those Gamorreans, after Jabba died, they had to file for unemployment and they had to go work somewhere else. So apparently they're coming to this trashy graffiti place and they're going to have a fighting ring with 2 vibro axes. So
yeah. Well, and apparently they lost a lot a
lot of weight. That's another thing I was going to say.
That's the first thing I noticed when I looked at this. I'm like, wait, why are they so skinny?
It's like the scoundrel's moon must have really cheap food stamps.
I'm used to seeing some big old Gamorrean guards,
and
right?
That's the thing. Like in Return of the Jedi, you see these Gamorreans are huge, fat, kind of just goofy looking. They're like thin, buff, huge, like. Yeah. So, anyways, that was the first thing I noticed there. Is kind of interesting. Yeah, I thought that's cool. So, basically, right after this, they're kind of you can let that go for a little bit, I'd say. So basically, a lot of people are kind of surrounding Mando here. The quote in the background says, basically, this is not a place for a child. And it's like, but the baby comes wherever I go, and they say, I know. Like, basically, like, okay, we knew that the baby's going to beat you, so that's why we trapped you here. So a bunch of people come around him, pointing guns at him and blasters at him. And they're sitting right next to some kind of, like, Cyclops-looking character here. But what happens next is pretty good.
Yeah, well, and this just kind of confirms that, people are still chasing after the child at this point.
Oh,
still.
yeah, it's not ended. Like, the bounty's off, but they're still chasing.
And the best part is, like, he's like, he goes where I go. So, like,
yeah,
it doesn't really matter where I go. Baby Yoda comes along.
Oh,
and so, yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So right after this, we see the iconic season 1 finale type thing here, which was the whistling bird.
Yeah, so he goes to use that. It starts to activate, and then of course Baby Yoda sees it. He's used to this kind of stuff now, and he immediately hurries and turns and presses the button to close the.
He may not be super much older at this point, but you can tell that Baby Yoda's like, it's not just like this, like, goo goo, cat,
yeah,
little
he's
baby
got a little
anymore.
more. Especially there, he moves real quick.
Like pushes the button to shut his cradle and like jumps back in.
Oh so man, beautiful. And that's so already is being used as such a great meme, and like it's Baby Yoda is such a great meme.
But great meme material. Yeah.
I love that. It just goes to show like Baby Yoda is going to be such a great hit again.
Oh,
like,
100%.
He can do like anything, and it's just great. It's just
awesome. I mean, he can literally just like stand there and we're like, oh my god, just Baby Yoda.
I know. So I loved that. It kind of goes to show like he's used to the relationship with the Mandalorian now. They're used to this type of thing at this point. Right. He goes and fights people, and then Baby's like, oh, it's my time to go hide. And just, I love
time for battle. Do the magic hand thing. So, of course, he uses the whistling birds, kills everybody, and then throws a knife in Darth Maul's chest. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
And then says, this is the way.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. So that kind of comes to the end, so it pans out, obviously, and then goes to
the
Mandalorian Season 2, coming October 30th. So, a lot of stuff. I mean, so let me get this out of the way. Like I said, we're running over, so I don't want to take too much time, but I just do want to sum it here. There was a lot in this, but to my surprise, there wasn't as much as I thought there would be.
Right.
So let me clarify. I'm not saying that I wanted more, but because of the delay, because of all the stuff that's going on in the world as it is, and they're wanting to pump this up and hype this up and get everybody excited, I figured they would have had a bigger drop than this, that they would have put in Ahsoka, God forbid they put in Luke Skywalker or something crazy, right? I'm going to say I'm kind of glad that they didn't. I liked it was like kind of ambiguous. There wasn't a lot to it. You're just going to like, hey, be excited because there's these cool elements, but you're going to get it when you get it kind of thing. And I like that personally. I would just say I was kind of surprised that they didn't go that direction. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised as well that we didn't get any big reveals. We talked a lot about Ahsoka. Kessel Run's transmissions had told us that they were going to they refilmed some Ahsoka stuff to show in a trailer, all that stuff. They were wrong again. This is their second time now in a row, guys. So,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure if to be honest, if that's the most trustworthy source anymore.
Yeah,
unfortunately
exactly.
for those guys, but but
Yeah, it's like,
I don't want to be mean, but
I'm sure they had good intel at the time, maybe.
but so yeah, I mean, I kind of expected we would see Ahsoka in this slightly, but we didn't.
Yeah,
But
I thought that if she was going to be in this, I thought we'd see her. But now, from what I've seen, I'm still not saying like she's not in the show.
Well, and the thing is, we might get another trailer.
Maybe. This was more of a teaser-ish type thing.
Yeah,
It wasn't really.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm pretty sure I even saw. It doesn't say it on YouTube, but I remember seeing it somewhere where it actually even said teaser.
It definitely feels more like a teaser, and so there's potential that we might get another trailer before this airs. If I remember right, the second trailer for The Mandalorian came out not long before the show started, and so there's a possibility for that. But if they don't, I'm actually okay with it. I'm okay with what we got.
I am too. It's got me just enough like cool elements with being ambiguous, you know, kind of thing. But like, it's just enough to get me my appetite wet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, and ready to go. You know?
I'm fine. I'm fine with them saving some of the bigger stuff for later. I mean, if they didn't, I'd be fine with that too, because it'd be cool to see in a trailer.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like if we do see a scene with Ahsoka fighting with her lightsabers, I mean, yeah, that's gonna be cool, right?
Right.
But I have to say, like, overall, I'm pretty thrilled with it.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot there to like. The one thing that sticks out to me though about this trailer is it does kind of double down on the searching for the Jedi, which again for me is super exciting because I love all things Jedi. As you guys know, we are the Jedi Eternal. So.
Exactly.
And so just that part of it is very exciting to me. What that could potentially mean, and when I think about it, what that could mean is let's just think about the time period we're in. Right, we are 6 or 8 years after. Is it 6 or 8 years after Return of the Jedi? I can pull it up if I have to. But.
I want to say 6, but I think it may be longer than that. So you might check.
Either way, we are not long after Return of the Jedi, and when we're talking about Jedi during this time,
it's Favreau has
9
said
years.
that. What? On this one, reading, Favreau has said that Mandalorian is set 5 years after the fall of the Empire in Episode 6. I don't know. Whatever the.
Well, now we got. Now we have to find out.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna look up here on the most reliable one that I know of. Okay.
This is Wikipedia.
Yeah, Collider says Mandalorian picks up 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, which means the Empire has fallen and Luke, Leia, and Han Solo are still alive elsewhere in the galaxy. So that's what Collider says.
Okay, so 5 years. So it's not long after, the all the stuff that's went down.
I just spilled my tea.
Did you really?
Yeah. I have to go grab some.
Oh no!
I'm very bad.
Not on my new rug. Oh god. So anyways, with that in mind, we right now the main Jedi, like the Jedi of the time, is Luke Skywalker. He is sort of the only Jedi. I mean, you can, if you're not considering Ahsoka and maybe a couple of others out there somewhere, but you just spill it more. Oh my goodness!
The dog. It wasn't me.
You just spilled it a second time on my rug. Jeez.
Clarification: that was the dog.
You can buy me a new one. Okay, so I wonder if they're actually looking for Luke Skywalker, because that would be the only Jedi that some people would maybe even know of at that point. and even Luke Skywalker is like a legend to some people, but to those in the know, it would be Luke Skywalker. And so maybe I wonder if this story will end up like they're looking for Luke Skywalker, and they hear tales of this Force user, all this stuff, and they're going this mystic. They're going along, and they find Ahsoka instead.
Yeah, that would be much more predictable, I think, than actually end up seeing Luke. But
well, I
would be cool
I don't
with
think
either,
they're
of
ready
course,
to show
but-
Luke Skywalker.
No, I don't think so either.
I mean, if they casted a young Luke Skywalker and show him here, cool. But I don't know that they're willing to do that. Maybe like you see him in a robe, like from a distance or something crazy like that.
Yeah,
like, but
exactly.
nothing up close and personal. But I'd be more. I think it would be cool if they know of Luke Skywalker because they're looking for a Jedi and
Yeah.
So they actually are looking.
Yeah,
for
they may
him.
not like see him, but like at least mention him or something.
I
Along
feel like
those
he's
lines.
got to be talked about in this.
Yeah, at least mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah, but then in the end they find Ahsoka, and then from there I don't know what happens.
Yeah.
As far as like what Ahsoka does, if Ahsoka's like, you need to go find Luke Skywalker, does Ahsoka even know who Luke Skywalker is? I don't know.
I don't know. Probably not.
But
Well, I don't know. I think we've talked enough about this. We're kind of rambling at this point. But honestly, there's so many avenues, so many ways that this could be taken, and really, we're not going to know until October 30th when we start our very first episode of Mandalorian.
yeah.
Which we will, of course, be covering right here on Jedi Eternal. Every episode will be talked about, reviewed. We can do spoiler free because I know there was some, audience drop when people couldn't watch it last time, and that's fine. We can do like a spoiler free and then maybe spoiler segments like we did with Clone Wars.
Yeah, I think we'll start off with non-spoiler impressions and then jump into the more spoiler details. But
So, but yeah, guys, get ready for that. It's going to be huge. It's going to be great. I'm excited to see what they do with Mandalorian Season 2.
I'm so excited.
But without further ado, we want to thank everybody so much for your continued support towards this podcast and what you guys do for us. We absolutely look forward to hearing from you as we do every week. So please like and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you may find us for weekly news, polls, discussions, memes, and more. But please also follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and make sure to leave us a good review. We thank you guys so much for listening, and we invite you to join us next week for episode 33. Last but not least, may the Force be with you, and we thank you for joining the Jedi Eternal.